This is the Fearless Launching Show. I'm your host, Anne Samoylov. And today, well, we're talking about fear, but not in the normal sense. Today, I'm going to talk about something I actually took myself through a process of really figuring out if something I wanted to put off, something I wanted to reschedule, do some more work on before I put it out into the world, was either based on facts or fear. And, I'm definitely one who honors and listens to myself. However, sometimes I think it's important to be able to say, okay, what is this? Is this based on facts or is this based on fear, the reason why I'm even having this issue in the first place? It doesn't mean that necessarily just because the facts say do it, that you do it. So we're going to dive into this topic a little bit more, and I hope that you will find some value in this, especially because, I'm still coming up against issues every now and then. And we're all human here. And so even when you've launched many, many times, supported many, many people through their own launches, you can still have those moments where you're like, wait a second, hold up here, people. Is this fear? Wait, I teach about fear. I have a program called Fearless Launching. Oh my goodness, this is actually fear. So that is not the spoiler alert, by the way. So if you want to hear more about this and dive into something maybe that you've been thinking you might reschedule, and it could be something very simple, I want you to keep listening, and I'm going to take you through my own process, something that recently happened and how I got through it. I will see you on the other side. The Fearless Launching Show was created to answer the question, how can I launch my big idea to the world in the most simple, straightforward way possible and reach more of the right people? I'm your host, Anne Samoylov, and I've been helping 6- and 7-figure business owners launch for over a decade. And while I love geeking out about improving launches, new launch strategies, what's working, what's not working, I'm also obsessed with exploring the heart, the mind, the challenges of running your own business. And that's what we're going to do each and every week. I want to show you how to launch that course or coaching program or other creative work and navigate the journey of being an online entrepreneur. So if you're ready for some new perspectives, some new stories around launching, well, I can't wait to share those with you. Let's get into today's episode. All right, welcome back to this podcast. I'm so glad if you're here again listening. Well, hello. Great to know that you're on the other side of what I'm speaking right now. And if you're new, well, welcome. We love new people in our world. And I hope you enjoy today's podcast because there's a little bit of the practical, and then there's also the little bit of the stuff that we need to acknowledge does play a part in how, when, and what we bring out into the world, how we launch, but also when we do it and what it is. And I think that becoming more aware of what gets in our way, what helps us get through it just makes the whole process of launching easier. And that's what I am all about. So listen, as you move through your business, you're going to be faced with many of the same challenges as when you first started. So even if right now today you're like, okay, I have a team of contractors, I have a few, or maybe you have just employees, no matter who you are, whether you're at that point or you're working completely solo, you're going to do some things that you didn't at the beginning of your business. These are actually things that it's okay that you spend your time on. We hear a lot of people talking about leveraging your time as the CEO and really being focused on the visionary work. Well, here it is. You're going to create new offers. You're going to meet and understand new things about your potential or your best potential customers and clients. You're going to decide you want to run promotions. You're going to run promotions. You're going to improve your offers. You're going to schedule launches. You're going to plan out different things that you want to do during your launch. These are all things that we do from the beginning. So since we continue to do much of the same body of that really important work as we grow, we need to get better at figuring out what to do next, because If you've ever asked yourself, should I delay my webinar for another couple of weeks? Or maybe my challenge would be better over here. And it seems really innocent, like, oh, maybe my open cart shouldn't actually start until this period. Or maybe my entire launch just needs to move because of this, and this. Now, here's what you need to know. There could be some real reasons why delaying these things in your launches or your launch in general could be a good idea. And and the big and, there also could be fear for no good reason telling you there's a good reason to change what you're doing. Yikes. So, I recently had this happen to me when I was putting together a new program, which I'll tell you about later in this episode a little bit, not too much. But I had my date set, and all of a sudden I wondered, hey, you know what? I only got one round of feedback on that piece of this. Should I get more feedback on those slides or that presentation or the application page? Should I do that? Now, I knew those things based on the turnaround time of my coach would likely take a week or so to get. So I looked at the calendar and I thought, gosh, I don't know. I mean, do I really need permission to launch? Do I need permission to go forward? I mean, and I kept looking at that. So being me, I created I actually created two options. But first, I started with, okay, let's create a compromise so that I can delay everything maybe just 2 days and see how that looks in terms of like when the first email goes out and when the second email goes out, when I do the first Facebook Live or the third Facebook Live. And, and it delayed. And then I actually created another option, which skipped a few things that are on the calendar for many people. And that's all I'm going to say. So I skipped a few weeks, but then I started thinking, I'm like, what is the benefit to doing the longer delay? Is there any benefit? How am I going to feel when I'm back, 3 weeks from now, and I'm just starting that process? How am I going to feel? I've already been working on this for 2 months. So basically 3 months to do this, that makes no sense. I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. And yes, this is different, but how can I do that to myself? So, and everything is essentially done and ready. It might not be perfect, but it actually doesn't have to be this first time out. I am all about progress over perfection in the very beginning of things. This is something, many teachers have shared with me over the years. So I had to stand back and say, what's really going on here, Anne? Okay? What's happening? Are you really looking for approval at this stage in the game? Now, I will say I'm not looking for approval, and I wasn't. But what I did have to acknowledge to myself in that moment of saying, do I need approval? I'm like, no, but no. And also, in the past, I neglected to get feedback. And that is one thing that I can say, I've also had teachers that say, you can't get there doing this. You might have gotten here doing a certain set of things, but to get to that next level, you're going to have to change some of the things you're doing. So that means putting myself out there. That means getting the insights, the feedback, not necessarily approval of things. So I knew that for me, that little piece, it wasn't approval. It was definitely a very subtle distinction of getting someone who I didn't know, who had no context, who didn't necessarily need to treat me with kid gloves like a friend might. I needed that, right? And so after talking it out with myself, answering the questions, looking at the facts, and detailing how the different options could benefit me, I came to it really, like, it was in my face actually from the very beginning, but I'm like, really? Is that really it? But this is fear, okay? Everything is not perfect. And that's what I had to say to myself. And everything is not perfect, but it's ready to test. I can improve things over time. Oh, wait, Anne, remember that phrase you like to say? And it's the topic of your upcoming book, CBB, could be better. As a creative, you're always going to want to make things better. There is no need to delay that far in the future to get this out there. Because what if someone really needs this right now? What if someone needs to be in your world getting your feedback and your insights right now? What if they actually need that to move forward? Now, mind you, I wanted to just say this. I came to this only after doing the following. It's a few things, okay? Scheduling 2 coaching sessions with my coach. So, and I scheduled them as soon as I could in their schedule. Like they're first available, I took it. And then submitting all of my work for critique, for a final critique. I needed to put a button on that to say, you know what? I went through this process. I stepped out there. I put out my stuff for, critique, for review. I did that. That was a commitment to myself, really. And I also came to this realization after leaving not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but maybe like 5 voice memos for 5 different people. When I say voice memos, I also mean a combination of voice memo, Marco Polos, and this and that and the other thing. Oh my goodness. And the fourth thing that I did was just mapping out 2 options for the changed dates, meaning here's the compromise one that's only a few days difference, and here's the other one that really just gets us out of that zone that you were uncomfortable with. That's what I said to myself. So this didn't happen instantly. I didn't instantly say, oh, well, this is fear. You're doing it, girl. But I had to go through it. Like even my mom, she was one of the 5 who has no idea about my business really. And I always want to talk to her about more universal things. I don't want to put her on the spot to say, well, what should I do? Should I run these ads? I'm not going to say that to her. But even she said that it sounded like fear because if I have everything done, then why would I delay it unless it's fear? And now that I'm thinking about it, this is the kind of stuff that comes up when you have a new, improved program. You're doing something in a different way. And even if the nuts and bolts, the pieces of it are the same, are part of like a similar system or a similar set of things that you're not afraid of doing, you know how to do. This fear piece came up and I was able to actually do some work with myself on it. Normally, I wouldn't have the luxury of that. I would just be putting things together and blah, blah. It's not to say that I jump from strategy to strategy, but the only way that I was able to give myself that hold up and make a clear decision about changing the dates was because it was a system and it was something that I didn't have to even think about. I didn't have to think about that piece of it, the stuff that I actually created, the pages, the tech setup, all of that stuff done, right? And now I'm going to take a cue from Mel Robbins and how I refer to this fear, because this is something that I have yet to kind of put into my psyche about fear. And that is sometimes when you're afraid, it's actually like your brain apparently can't tell the difference between fear and excitement. And I've had that before. I remember my very first launch. And it wasn't a course. It was my ebook, The White Space Solution. It's about clearing space in your life so that you can do your best work, right? And I remember that I think I was doing a collaboration with Simple Mom, which I don't think is the same website anymore, but Simple Mom. And I was so scared. My heart was beating. My heart was racing. I didn't know, I was so nervous, but it was that same feeling because I was actually excited. And the results of that were unbelievable to me. The number of people that responded to that was just like, oh my gosh, this is just one collaboration. I'm freaking out. So that's my proof that I will refer to say, oh, this fear is my excitement. So is it scary to put a new thing into the world and wonder if people will want it? Yep. Is it possible no one will sign up? Yes, that is also possible. Is it possible I'll exceed my expectations, though, and plenty of the right people will apply? Yes. And what if I could turn that fear into excitement? That actually just gave me goosebumps just thinking about that, because I am so excited that I've created this amazing, new, complete solution for people who know that launching isn't a one-time thing, but still want it to get easier, right? So here's where I switch gears and invite you to a live private training. So here's what that means. First of all, the private training is going to be to show you more about this one system. I go back to every single thing in my business. So no matter what I'm launching, new or not, the system always stays the same. And it's the way I can have a weird, in quotes, business model that sometimes changes based on what's happening in my life. And I'll talk more about this weird model during my private training. The system allows that. So if you're ready to have a breakthrough launch, which in turn allows you to have a breakthrough in your business, one that makes it easier, faster, lighter to launch whenever you want, plus you'll have a complete clarity to improve your launches over time, I would love to share all the details in my upcoming private training. This is live and it's going to be completely private. So that means I'm not just putting it out there for anybody to sign up for. I'm excited to get to know those of you who are ready to really take that next step, and not just the next launch, the next step to the next phase in their business. So all you have to do to get your invite to this live training is apply to see if we're a good fit. I can't tell you how excited I am, but I feel those nerves, and that excitement is kind of underneath those nerves. So I hope you enjoyed today's kind of little mini story time with me about realizing that, yes, the facts were there that told me, yes, I'm ready, but something underneath that had me make a little compromise. And I guess I didn't tell you the end of that story was that I did shift just those few days. Oh, I got goosebumps again. What's going on here, folks? I had to shift that a few days, and that gave me enough of a, okay, I'm still in control here feeling to keep moving. So I hope you take this to heart right now. Because this is me just speaking from my heart. There's no script here. I just want you to know that it is possible to get through those moments when you feel something that tells you to stop, halt, wait, I can't do this. It is possible to get through those moments. And most of the work I did on my own. Yes, I did verbal process with several people, but only 2 of those people actually responded to me or were able to respond to me when I was leaving those messages. So it's not like I went around town asking, hey, should I do this? And got answers. I literally got answers from 2 people, and their answers came after I came to the decision and conclusion myself. So this is where we need to be doing the work. Once you have that system in place, then you can focus on the other stuff that might be holding you back, that might trip you up. And anyways, I'm excited to share that with you. So make sure to go to annesamoilove.com/apply. It is an application page for my Launch Incubator program, but there's no commitment. You can literally fill out the application, 2 main questions. The rest are just contact info, 2 main questions, and then I will get back to you with an invite to our live private training. And it's going to be on Zoom, meeting style, so it'll be really nice, private, intimate, and I'm excited. So I'm excited. That means also underneath that, I might be thinking, I'm scared. But I'm excited for you to hear this brand new training, because it has blown my mind how it has evolved over the past 2 months. And I'm just so thrilled I get to share it with you. Okay, again, go to annesamoilove.com/apply, and I will see you there. Take care.